Hey, how's it going? My name is Anthony Gray. Welcome to Grayscale Painting. I'm going to do a painting that used to really have me puzzled in my starting of painting, and that would be the type of forest that has that nice glow to it, and yet the foreground was really dark, and the interior of the forest was like very mysterious and soft and really glowing. I never knew how that was accomplished, but when I show you how it's actually done, hopefully you can understand it and try one for yourself. Okay, this is 11 by 15-inch watercolor paper. I had pre-wet it with water, let it dry, then I just taped it up here on the board. Okay, switch screens, and we have our water, vegetable glycerin, and I have burnt umber, alizarin crimson, phthalo blue, yellow ochre, cad yellow, and titanium white. Alright, okay, we're gonna get right on to it. So in this painting, everything is in stages. Okay, alright, and I'm gonna start off with the lightest color, which would be yellow. But first I will dip my brush into a little glycerin just to get the paint to move around, have it be pretty slick. I'm only going to do it in the center where I'm going to put the yellow. I might even use a yellow white mix, but it doesn't need to go too far. Alright, and we're going to dip into a little yellow. Alright, and we're just going to nicely plant it right here. We're going to go into a little bit of the titanium white, and we're going to put it right on top of that yellow just to make it really pop and stand out a little. Just like so. Now any color after this will be darker, obviously, than its shiny background. And this is all I need. A painting like this doesn't take necessarily long to do. It all depends on the details and how detailed you want to go with your trees and whatnot. The reason why it's only going to be bright so far down is because there'll be obviously land and a darker mass area. Alright. Okay, I don't really need much more than this. Alright, okay. I'll stick with a brush today. I'll just use just a 1-inch natural hair brush for this one. I'm pretty sure most of you would know what brush this is. And I'm going to go right into my little bit of yellow and some yellow ochre. I'll put them both in there together. Maybe a touch of white. Kind of want it still kind of pastel like, fairly light. Okay. And I'm just going to throw in some patterns for the trees. Try to go as light as you can. And when you tap these guys in there, right? Because these are the lighter ones that are in the background. Okay. And basically try to bring these in the furthest, because these are going to get covered the most. Alright. And just work on the other side here. And get some interesting leaf shapes, leaf clumps going on. Get some nice little patterns in there. You don't have to block everything as the yellow. But a lot of this will make sense to you in a minute. I don't need it to be excessively dark. Okay. And I'm going to get some more color first. A little yellow. A little touch of white, put it right in there. Even though I got white in it, it's still going to represent as fairly dark. And we're going to get a nice little pattern of ground in here, just like this. Okay, just going to put that in there. It's just establish a little bit of ground. You might not see all of this. Okay, just a little bit, because other colors are going to go on top of this. Basically, that's what I'm saying. I think I'll leave it like that. That's fine. Let's go back into some yellow ochre here. I'm just going to get a darker ochre just for the trunks of the trees. You might not see all of the trunks, and that's fine. But we're going to establish a couple of them in there. Okay, and we can have some branches sneak out there like this. Like I said, you might not see all of this happening here. All right, we're just going to give the impression of some of these guys. But it's just like I said, just to give an impression of some trees back there. You might not see all of this, but what you will see to look a lot more natural. Okay. Okay. And so I'm going into my ochre. I'm gonna try to use just the corner of the brush. No medium, just the ochre itself. And maybe just a slight touch of the brown. This is going to give the impression of the trees just coming in a little bit closer. Now, when you do the darker trees, okay, well, you don't have to really go in as far. Okay, so get yourself a little boundary. I'll just do the boundary first, and I'm just using the corner of the brush. Just the corner. I'll have some come out this way. And like I say, I'm just using the corner of the brush, and I'll come out this way, and I'll establish a little bit of land mass there. I'll try not to go too dark. If it's a little too dark, you can always lighten it up just a slight bit. And I'll get some of that land going. Like in here a little bit. Just to darken up that. Just like this. Go back to my corner of the brush and I'll bring some of this inside. Just like that. I don't have to add any details or anything like that to this. I'll bring some of that out there like that. And once again here on the other side, establish a nice little pattern of trees. And I'll come out here a little bit, bring it out, and then I'll just come down like that. Just making a nice little row of bushes down there. I'm not using any glycerin or anything, just the natural, just the paint itself. Okay. And I'm just blocking in color. Just like so. So hopefully you can kind of get the idea. The darker the color, the more bleached out the interior will be. Okay. I'm going to continue on with the same brush. I just dipped my very thin brush. This is a number 10 flat. It's smaller than a half. And I will continue some of those branches in here. They're a little darker. You can make them a little thicker. Go on and darken it a little bit, like so. I'll bring some of that in here. Come on the other side and pop in a couple in there like that. Like this. Just a few things dangling around. Like I said, you don't have to go overboard with these. Okay. Like that. Make a branch come out there like this. Okay. You don't have to add too much. All right. The closer you get, the darker the colors will be, and the more details you can add. All right. Okay, now that we've established our yellows and yellow browns and whatnot, we're going to get gradually darker here. So we're going to mess around with just a little bit of the phthalo blue. Now once we get into the territory of this phthalo blue, all right, I think I'll lighten it up just a little bit with the phthalo. Let's get plenty of it here. And much concentrate on using just the corner of the brush for the leaf texture. Okay. So we're gonna get some of this nice pastel bluish color here. Ready? And we're gonna go in just using the brush and have some of this come out in different areas. And you start blocking this stuff in here. Just like that. Different values and all of that good stuff in there. And I'll start popping in some interesting little shapes here. Like so. And we're going to come on in here and use up some of that dark there. Like so. We're going to come on the other side. Let's bring some of that dark down in here. Like that. So he's really coming in there. Just got to get some more blue. A slight touch of white. It's all a practice in values. And I'm just using the natural paint itself. All right, I'll just do it with this. Just using the paint. The corner of the brush, get some interesting little shapes happening there. And pop in some interesting stuff happening in here. Let's bring some, get some more fluffiness out of there like that. And we'll come up in here. Get that strong top in there. The rest can be blocked in like that. Even though I'm blocking it in with color, I'm just gonna keep pouncing away at it because it still maintains a pattern, a texture. Is what I'm trying to say actually. Nice little texture in there. Now with some of these, you can start lightening up different parts of the bushes and the trees. You can start, getting a little bit of a lighter color in there if you choose to do so. I'll just play with a little bit of white just on the corner of the brush, and we'll start dealing with a little bit of that lightness in here. Just like that. Not all over the place or anything. Just some light areas. I think I still got some more dangling around there. I can tease a little bit of light color in here, just in certain spots. I don't want to add too much because we're not gonna totally saturate everything in there. Maybe a little bit on the ground edge there, like that. Going back to my number 10, going into my phthalo just a little bit, I'm putting it into the lighter blue area. And we'll continue once again with some, and these are also thicker branches, thicker bits of the wood or the bark. Why do I keep doing that? It's just these put some right here. I'll pop one up in here like that, come on around, put a branch up in there like that. You don't need too many just for it to sell the painting as, you know, y'all got all sorts of woods and stuff going in there. Just getting a little more of the phthalo blue, and we'll pop some in the corner like that, some hanging there like this, come up around, put some in there like that. We'll pop one coming through like this. Just a few, you don't need too many of them. Alright, just all that illusion of it being surrounded. Okay, I think that's about it. This painting, like I said, doesn't really take too long. The darker the color, as you can see by the camera, the darker the color, the more the stuff gets bleached out in there. You follow me? Okay. We'll do for the final layer. Final layer is going to be relatively dark, the darkest. Okay. Now with the final layer, it's going to be also the most detailed. Okay, so you just pick how you want to start to frame the whole total picture here. Okay, when you start to use the final color, you can actually cover some of this in. It just pushes everything back and it be almost like a natural frame. Okay, you're definitely going to need plenty of the next color, and I think I'll have it relatively dark. And I'll make it a little bit on the greenish tinge, but it will be a little dark. I'm adding a little phthalo blue. I added a little bit of alizarin crimson in it, and a little bit of burnt umber. It's going to be fairly dark, and I know I'm going to need more color than what I just put on here. Alright, but we're going to start to kind of get this thing happening here. Now, if I choose to put a covering here, because it is the darkest, it's going to really cover everything. Okay, if I chose to do that. So we'll start off on the corner here, right up here and on the corner, and we'll really kind of bring some of that out, just like that. Start off in the corner, we'll have it come out here like this. Because it's the darkest color, I need more phthalo blue. I really need to put the color on here. This is the darkest color. Let's go back into our red. Get a little more, and a little more of the brown. Just stir it in there. Now I got plenty of paint on this brush. That should be more than enough, because I got to try to cover everything with it. So pretty dark, as you can see. It's quite dark, like so. Come on down with it. This is like the final, and you're gonna have some details in this. You need just kind of a light touch with this. Okay, and we're going to come over here on the other side. We're going to kind of put it up in there, have it come out a little bit, come up here. And it's really that outside edge you want to accentuate. You know, bring some of this guy all the way out here like this. Come on back in with it. we'll bring some of that out here like that, and we're gonna really pop that in there like that. Everything else is pretty dark. All the way down in here, fairly dark. And you're gonna have a lot of interesting grass details and shrubbery down here. You're not gonna totally cover everything, but you're gonna really see leaf patterns and all sorts of interesting happenings there. But keep it fairly dark. Like I say, I can cover some of this. It'll be like a little glowing hole in there if I chose to go any further with it. I'm just still thinking about it if I want to do it that way or not. So my mind's still churning to see if I want to go that route. Let's put a little deeper darkness in there like that. Let's go into a little bit of titanium white. And I never removed the color off the brush. And we're gonna kind of get some interesting, like I say, little bits of glow in there. And we'll get some interesting patterns happening in there. Just like that. You don't have to add them all over the place. Okay. It's not necessary. Coming on the other side and just on the edges, you know, still using the patting motion. I'm not going to overdo it with the glowy, shiny stuff. Up in here, you can add some different patterns going different ways, like that. Much like that. Just a few bits of color. You don't have to exaggerate it. Okay. And I'll add in some interesting little shapes and trunks in there. Just like that. And these trunks can be a little bit larger, a little darker. And start breaking off little bits and pieces in there. Have some come out. The branches come out and around. You can start highlighting some of these branches. Let's have a branch just come on out here. He's bare, and that's okay. Have him come out like that. And he's just gonna kind of toward that way. Come on the other side, add a little bit of love in there too. We'll have one come in this way, and he snakes his way inward. Keep it fairly dark. Like so. We'll have one come out that way. Put another one back there. Let's get this one a little thicker there. Like that. Just a thicker branch. They're a little closer. But you can kind of check out and see exactly what's happening, what's going on. I don't have to have one down at the bottom. We got one here that's fairly close. Like so. Okay. All right. I was going to take the palette knife and do it, but it's just quicker for me to do it this way. I'm taking some of my brown, some of the red. I'm mixing it in with the phthalo blue I got down here. Very dark, very large. The 2-inch flat brush here. And I think we're going to put a nice log in here. Why am I going to put a log here? The log is going to push everything else back. All right, and he'll be a nice sized fellow. So we're going to start him right here. Like so. He'll be a pretty thick log, just like this. He's gonna come right across everything. And we're gonna get This little branch coming down like this. Thinner branch. You know, block it in just like that. Okay. And we're just gonna kind of block all that color right in. Block it right in. Have none of the yellow showing at all. Block it right in. I need the edge obviously a lot sharper, and we'll get to that. Right now I just want to kind of block all of this in. Now the log is the closest thing to us. It's a fallen guy. Big old log here. Remember, he's got that little branch hanging out there. Okay, so we got this giant thing right here in front of us. Nice batch of, come down here. I got a nice little batch of dark going on here. Okay, getting the rest of the brown. Put the brown in there, like so. Whatever's left of the red, I'll put the red in there. So I've got the red, the blue, the brown, like this. I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna just spread it apart, just like that. Okay, spread it apart pretty even there. I'm gonna take a little bit of this. I'm just gonna kind of tighten up that edge there, and you just go with the shape of the tree. We're gonna get some interesting bark going, so we go into almost like a U shape here. Just overlap. Get as close as you can to the edge of the tree. Okay, close as you can to the edge, and go in that kind of wide C pattern. All right. Now some of my paper is bowing out, so I have to press a little bit. But all I'm looking for is interesting tree patterns right now. Just pretty much what you're looking at. Okay. And remember to maintain that shape of the letter C. Overlap a little bit. Just don't make it appear to be like they're in some kind of formatted row. That's what you don't want. Nice thin line across. Give it a nice little swipe. And even though I'm adding the texture, you see that the texture is still, even though it's brighter than obviously the foundation color, but it's not the brightest thing out there. Even though I'm highlighting it, it's highlighted in shadow. That's what I'm basically trying to say. And we're going to come out here on this branch, and we're going to give a little love to this branch too, just like this. You overlap the patterns a little bit, just like that. Bring it on down, just like so. Okay, let's get a little bit of yellow, a little bit of white. We'll put it right here. Now the highlights are going to be right on the edge of the tree here, right here. And the brighter the highlight, the less of it you need. Okay, and you put it in little key spots, especially where it's dark at. You might not need it so much here, but as you come back to the other side, you see this? Just like that. Alright, you see how it's starting to look now? Let's go over here in this corner. Get a little brightness in there, like just like that. Just like so. Trail it down a little bit, just like that. And just for a little bit of refracted light and add a little interesting color to it, I'm gonna get a little bit of this phthalo blue. And I'm gonna go from the other side. See, I just laid the phthalo blue down a little bit, cut a nice thin swatch. Where it come from bottom. Let's go to the bottom. And you're gonna take it from the bottom, and you're just gonna go in the other direction. like so. All right, we'll swap across, and you're just gonna go in the other direction. Okay, go right into the previous color, flat as you can. Bring it right up in there. Keep that roundness. Bring some of that up in here a little further. Okay. You may see some of this, you may not. Let's go over here to this rounded branch in here. Bring some of that in there. Okay. You see a little bit of this happening with it. Bring some of that around in here like this. I'm just wiping all this mess off my palette knife actually. Just adding a little color, a little interest to this fella. Up around here in the middle, we can play around with some of that. Just a little bit. Come up around in here. So I'm still looking at it, still checking it out. See if I still need a little love somewhere else. A little something on the side here, kind of sneaking around there. Pretty neat. All right, so let's move upward here. Now, because of all of that dark, you see that the yellow and the stuff all in there is pretty much just about bleached out there. Okay. Okay, that's not too bad. Still a little damp. That's because of the glycerin, but everything else is fairly dry. I might as well just do it just to do it, and it makes it a little different. So once again, I'll go into my phthalo blue. This will be the last part. You're not going to see the paint mix because one, I shut the machine off, the camera off, and two, this is just this is the tail end of the thing, so you're not going to really see too much of what I'm going to do here. I'm mixing in just the blue and the brown, phthalo blue, the brown, the ochre, or not ochre, I'm sorry, the burnt umber. Okay, so we'll put a big guy. He's come straight down like that, just like this. Look, just like that. Block him right in. Big old fella, just like this. So we have a large tree, dark, right here in the center. Now you gotta make, he's so close, you gotta make him a little interesting. Okay. So let's give him a curvy branch right in here. A curvy fella right in here. And he gets he's a little thicker there, but he's a little curvy. Put the little curved branch right in there. Don't worry, we're gonna get that branch a little darker there. This is a 2-inch flat brush, and I'm just patting some darkness into that fella, like so. Just like that, just make him curved, a little gnarly. Okay. To him, really. I can just have another branch just come this way, straight. Have him branch off this little fella. I'm just turning the brush around. He's the closest, just make him kind of interesting looking. Okay. And you got that gap in there just to accentuate the size of this fellow. And show off that glow a little bit back there. Okay. Once again, we're going to our palette knife. I'll get a little bit of yellow, a little bit of white, mix it in here with this. I might have a little bit of brown left. Kind of gray up some things here. Like I said, you don't really see what I'm doing here. I'm gonna get a little more umber because it's a little bit too blue for me. So I'm just putting a little bit of umber into this light blue mix, just to darken it up a little bit. Gray it up a tad. There we go. Very interesting pattern. I'm putting out a straight swath of paint. Okay, a little cut across. Make sure your paint's pretty thin when you bring it across. You don't want too much paint. Okay, and we're going to take it and the same thing, make the nice wide letter U shape, but we're going in the opposite direction. Right on across, like so. Just keep it moving. Just round and round. Interesting little patterns start coming up for you. Come on around as far as you can go. All right. Just like that. Put a little bit of that on the other side here. Make sure your brush is fairly loose. Don't press too hard. Because if you press too hard, it'll look like you're baking a cake and it won't break as well. But still keep it in that rounded type of, kind of rounded circle-ish type of thing going on there. Let's go to the smaller branch. This fell over in here. Same thing, keep with the roundness. If more, make it a more exaggerated U shape to bring out, it's a smaller branch. All right, you want to bring out that roundness. So it's like the letter C or letter U, however you want to envision it. Same thing here, exaggerate it. Let whatever's going to come off. Don't worry about it too much. Just like so. We still got a little bit of yellow and white. I'm going to put that somewhere where I can just kind of put the two together here. Right here. And we're just going to lightly highlight some of that. Very lightly. You don't need too much for the highlight here. Sometimes you just need a touch. But I like the texture, so I'm going to give it a little drag there. Just like that. Now what's happening is that the paint that I previously put on here is picking up the paint on the palette knife. So it's give you that interesting type of patterns there. So that's what you're basically looking at. A little light swipe across here. Let's put a little more white in that, like that. Now this tree is pretty much backlit, so both sides could have the highlight, believe it or not. Just like so. Put it right in there. And I'll have this one, like the tree is the branch is on the other side, so I'll draw the line right past it. All right, that's basically all that's going on, and I'll bring part of that glow down there, but the log is covering up some of that shine there. Come here, right from that bottom, right here like this. This one gets it a little further because the sun is coming maybe more or less from that direction, so some of that glow goes a little further on that edge. Just a little bit though. Okay, and we're gonna highlight this side. When it's backlit, you can actually put highlights on both sides of the tree, and they don't go that far around in there. I am really painting on fumes here because I know I ran out of white. I do need a little more white though, and it's kind of disappointing because this is so close to the end of the painting. Come on, buddy. There you are. There we go. Brighten that up just a little bit there. Bring some of it in, but it's really around in here. Okay, I don't have to really, like I say, I don't have to add too much to this fella because it's about over here. All right, I really don't have to, like I said, I don't have to add really too much more to this. This is pretty much done. If I wanted, and I can't because I don't have to anything there, but I could have added a little blue like I did down here with this fella, a little bit of blue. I can add the blue here, but that's not necessarily, I don't need it. Okay, now to make this even more interesting as far as the glow, I could take some of the yellow, a little bit of white, and I can start like either giving a little cast to some of these so it's faded out, so it's really glowing, or I can add some of that in the branches back here and to give it that softness to it. That can also be done. So much you can do with this if you desire to. Okay, I'm not going to go into it that far. This is just a concept just to show you exactly how it's actually done. I'm going to throw my name in the darkness here. I do thank you for watching this. The video's not too long. Let me know what you think. Good, bad, or indifferent. I'll show you what it looks like on the frame in 1 second here. That don't look like a 2. Actually, that looks horrible. I just keep my name right there. I'll just put the date here. There. That's a lot better. So let's take the tape off. Let's put this back a little bit so you guys can see the frame. I think that should be good, somewhat good enough. This is actually an 11 by 14 frame, not 15. But that's what it would look like essentially in a brown frame. It looks something like that. Okay, for most people, the black frame is a little more appealing. This is the actual frame that would fit on this, but it would look something like that. Okay, like I said, I think the black frame is probably a little more appealing. All right. Once again, this is Anthony Gray of Grayscale Painting. I really hope you enjoyed this and learned something from it. I hope it helped you out. Like I say, keep them light in the back. You don't see it because it's being washed out by the light here, and the darker the color, the camera is going to read what's darkest first. So that's why you see it the way you see it. You don't see anything in here, but there's stuff in there back there. Okay, I did all that painting with the light colors and everything and surrounded it, but then again, it's all consumed by all this dark. But the mood and the effect that it has is what you're looking for. So you have to paint through with everything. Okay, which is why you go through that process. All right. With all that said, leave your comments down below. If you like, you know what to click. And I'll see you when I see you.